the challenge is to use just the guitar as my MIDI controller. So nothing else to play, chords, melodies, bass lines. Let's see what happens. Okay, so first of all, I've got my guitar plugged into my interface. So you need that. You need an interface to get your guitar into it. I'm going to use channel 2, which is right here. So if I arm this, I've got some clean sound. In Ableton Live, you can extract MIDI from audio. You can do it for monophonic, just melodies, single line. You can do chords, and you can do drum beats from, you could beatbox, whatever. We're not doing that today. So whatever I record, it could be anything, but I'll just use that Aussie riff as an idea. 2, 3, 4. Boost my signal a little bit so you can see timing wasn't amazing, but all I'm going to do is just tighten it up a little bit, and then you can see it's not perfect. But if we're going to change it to MIDI, there's a few ways of doing this. You can either, if you sort the audio out now, it'll be easier to get good MIDI sounds. Then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to quantize it just to show you, because it's easier to do it now than in the MIDI. Select everything, right mouse click, and then you got quantize settings, which now is all nice and over here. So it was in 8th notes. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But I'll do it to 16s because my playing isn't that bad. Press apply, and you see it just snapped in there. And you can see now all of the transients, bang on. That's just me recording a clip. You're like, so what? Anyone can do that, right? So that's that. And I've got the bit I want. So you can right mouse click. I'm doing this because I'm using one hand, but if I was on the keyboard, I would of course crop, clip, sample, that it was there, crop to time selection. So I'd already done that. I'll go back and do it again. So I only want this bit. Get into a good habit of, if you're not going to use a bit of audio and you just think, well, that's the bit I want, just crop it. So right mouse click, and do it at the top there. It knows that you want to do something like that. So it's Shift Command J. If I've done it in there, still Shift Command J, but there it is. So gets rid of it. So now that bit isn't being used in this project. So I recorded it on a clean sound, but you can use, I use Guitar Rig a lot. I'll just put that over the top. And I'll just use the first preset. So it sounds a bit better, yeah. But just so you know what it sounds like, okay, so I'm going to mute this now. And here's where it gets interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put it onto a MIDI channel. Now, the rule is basically, if you have something already, like if I try to pick this up, for example, and just drop it on there, it just thinks, oh yeah, you want it to be an audio channel, and it just does it because there was nothing on there. It was an empty MIDI track. It's the same if you drag something from the browser. If you drag audio from the browser and just chuck it in a clip slot, it'll just turn it into an audio channel. Whereas in this case, I've got a piano on this one. So if I pick this up, it's already got an instrument on it. So if I do this, it's like a little musical note appears, and it's like, oh, I see what you want to do. What type of audio material are you converting? So harmony shows a nice little picture. Is more than one note at once. Chords, stacks, as it's called, in here, in the generative tools. Melody, one note at a time, and drums is drums. So if you go to melody, melody is one note at a time, bass line or sung, one note at a time. And if you look at this, because I quantized it, every note should be on the grid. And this is what it sounds like as a piano. So wasn't perfect. So since Live 12, you can set the scale. Now this, the more musical theory, more knowledge you have of it, it's going to be easier. But I'm just going to tell you, this is an F sharp minor. So if I go like this, look at these grey gaps in there, like this note's not in major. If I change that to minor, these grey gaps will disappear eventually. So I've got minor. This is in the key, that's in the key. And then if you press scale, it will only show you notes that are in that scale. But it's saying there's a G there, and there isn't. So if I look through it now, so I actually got it. It sounds better there. You can see if I look at the first bar, like there is no E, and it should be. If you look at the second one, it goes D, 2 F sharps. It's a C sharp, that one. So it's do 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 do. So if you look at the next one, it missed that just there. Nudge that. All I want to do is just. I've not quantized these yet, so I should do, but. So basically, it got the first half right. And the second half has got this. So it's up to you what you want to do. So what I would probably do in this case, I'll probably just record it again. No, I won't. But the first half of I mean, it's actually quite hard to play on the guitar. So that's right. So if I just get rid of from that, yeah, it just didn't get that at all in the second half. You'll see what I mean. Do it from there. And I'll hold Option and just copy it. Oh, went out key. So now, this first half should sound right. Right. So I'll do exactly the same thing. I'm going to do that. And you know what I'm going to do. Crop to time selection. So now those are all the right notes. So this is why I used a riff that you knew or you've maybe heard before, because you know when it's right or wrong. For this demonstration, I could have just played anything and you wouldn't have known if I'd done it right or wrong. So if you press fold now, it will show you only the notes that you've played, and because if you press scale, it'll show you all the notes in the scale. So if you wanted to do something or play extra notes, it's all going to be in key. And that's because we've got scale selected, F sharp or G flat minor, it's the same thing. And you can see where they all are. Okay, so now you've got this. If you play it with the original, doesn't sound weird with the piano. So this is the whole point, right? So if I just pick this up now, we know piano sounds decent. Move it over here. Now, if you could use any synth you've got, I'll just use Polymax, one of the UAD ones. I'll drag it over. And what I'll do here is just go to lead. Right, I'll use all different synths, but this is just one that it was free not long ago. So I went in on that one, or I got it with some voucher or something. So if I just solo this now, you know, you can just, I'll stick to lead. Hang on, so go lead. So we've got this now. We've got the we're not doing a cover of this, but it's just to show you this one bit. So this time, rather than do another single note melody, you know, the usual, instead I'll do something a bit different. So I'll just change the sound on this just for inspirational purposes. I'm just going to do something a little bit cleaner. Is that better? 2, 3, 4. So now I've got just like, I call them like diads, 2-note chords. Not the best, but I highlighted that, Command L, and then you remember crop, there you go. And you can see it's not bang on time. So Command A, and I'll do the same thing. Quantize, amount 100%, and you see it's moved it there. So that was like more than one note. So if I was to, I'll use the piano because it's a good gauge of like what notes are playing. Then you can be more creative with your sound, because it won't dive into sound design here. I'm just going to use bog standard sounds or whatever's just available. So if I pick this one up now, which we'll call it 2-note chords. So if I pick that, drag that over here, it knows there's a MIDI instrument on it. This time, instead of playing melody, I'm going to go for harmony. I can show you the difference as well. So if you set it to the key, remember we said before, you press fold, it shows you the notes. So it's saying there that I'm playing those notes. I didn't. It could be string noise or whatever. So the best thing you can do when you're editing it, before I even press play, I know that note isn't in. If you do this, sounds awful, doesn't it? So I just select the note, like think of it as a row, and I'm going to press 0. So now that note won't even play. So let's see what it sounds like. You know, I've heard worse. I've heard better as well. So another good thing to do is octave displacement, moving different octaves. So if I duplicate the clip, give it a different color, I'll go yellow. I always know that yellow means I've changed something, usually. So if I click this now, I'm going to press Command A to select everything. And then if you move the arrows, it will move up and down in semitones. But if you press Shift and then up or down, it moves a full octave. So now, if I press the yellow one, so that's quite busy. You know, if I just play it with the so you could go through and you could start to block notes out. So one great way of doing it is just Command A, press 0, and there's nothing in there, and you can start bringing stuff in like the very beginning. And I'm just, I mean, we said, you know, guitar as a, instead of a MIDI controller to make electronic music. So, you know, you get the idea. You can just see what's there. And I could make that bit go. So that's the first thing. So I would probably repeat that and make it into a pattern. So that's like idea 1. So rename idea 1, and then I'll duplicate it. And then this time what I'll do, click on it, and you see it's the purple one. If I do what I did before, where I crop the clip, so I'm only dealing with those notes. And then what you can do this time is I can make the notes, rather than be staccato, which you can see all these like the 16th notes or 8th notes, I can right mouse click and I can just, what is it called? I forgot what it's called. It is called fit time range. Right, so if I just select, right mouse click, fit join notes or fit time range. So we do that, it's just going to play. So I play this one. Turned all of them and made one big chord, right? And then the other option is join the notes, right? So now it's kind of gone, these are just like sustained rather than play. You got that kind of thing. Now if you wanted a bass line, so imagine I was playing, I've got a clean sound, 2 3 4. So I've got that there. So I'd probably turn the gain up a little. So the idea is going to turn into MIDI, so I don't need too much variation. and then Command A, and you can do, it's Shift Command U for quantize, but you press this down, it'll open this for you, and I'll do it to 16th notes. Press apply. See, now it's all a bit more. Interestingly enough, if I change this, the guitar rig to a bass, if I just go input source bass, the Ableton bass amp's actually good as well if you put the speaker with it. So dirty studio bass. But if I change the octave, so I'm going to go pitch, I'm going to go shift and down, it takes it down 12 semitones. So if you don't happen to own a bass guitar, just record all your guitars on a clean sound, take it an octave down, and actually if you change the beats as well, the warp, sorry, from beats to complex, I'm not sure. It sounds a bit weird towards the end because you change it. Oh, actually it's out of time, that's why. We don't like that there, do we? So we know that that should be there. Okay, so I just moved that. I don't know why I did. You might have seen something I didn't, but yeah. Okay, so if you wanted to use that, you could just go. I mean, it sounds like for like a indie disco vibe, but what we want to do now is I'm going to do another MIDI track, Shift Command T, and then I'm going to put this, let's call it bass line. So this is quite likely it'll need changing up into a higher octave, probably. Let's just see. So the idea is I've quantize it before I get along, before I move it across. Let's just clear that. I'll use Wavetable. See if there's any bass ones that I use from Wavetable. But the browser's pretty smart. Tell it what you want, and it'll go bass, analog, distorted. Let's redo. Yeah, let's try that. No idea, let's just try it. So now, if I bring this over, it already knows I've got MIDI on there. If I bring it there so you can see it. And we want melody, because just single notes. There's another way of doing this, which I completely forgot about, which if you've never done it before, you might, or you've seen it accidentally. If I click this, which is the recording, I'll just solo. If you right mouse click, you do actually have the option, convert harmony to new MIDI track. So this will just open one. So if I do this to convert melody to new track, it opens a new track for you. And then it just puts like a temporary instrument. So it can do it straight away. So then if I do this now and play them together. So this is if you've not chosen your sound yet. It gives you this sound and it's got kind of like a synth and piano. So if you do it, I'll just play on its own. And then you can go over. And you can go. So straight away you can move with the octave. Play the drum beat. Where is it there? So you know it's not bad. Where is it there? So it's basically got an analog, synth and electric, just to give you that sort of flexibility. So that's straight away, but we said we'd do whatever I use there. So it's up to you which way, but you right mouse click and choose. If you're on an audio clip, you can choose convert harmony, melody or drums. But if you drag it on an existing one, so if I get rid of that and just drag it back over, it knows it's just which one do you want. I like that. you know, I like to sort of be able to do that. So if I solo this now, so this is a bit too deep. So if I Command A, select all, Shift and up arrow, takes me an octave higher. Okay, but I like the bass line. So what I'll do in this case is go back to the guitar. I'm gonna go, so F sharp minor to B major. So I'm just playing them a bit more pianistic because I want full chords. If I now drag it, I can drag it to there because I've already opened that. Put harmony. And then it may, there you go, it's done it a little better on some than others. You can see that that's got B note there, but this one, it got it. So these two were probably best. But so straight away, I'm just going to move it over to the piano. You can see it here when it did the B, it added another B there. So I will do that, but to stay true, I'm not going to use any kind of, I'm just going to copy it. I'm not going to input. So those are my two chords using the guitar. Cut that down and then Command A and then use the fit to time range or join notes. So that's just made them all. I don't want that one. I mean, Legato is probably better for MIDI, where it just goes, it extends them. So something like that. I'll use Shift Command T to get a new MIDI track. Clear my browser, go instruments, and I'll use Wavetable for this one. And I'll just open a Wavetable. I won't even try to create anything. I'm just going to go there. There's my chords. Pick that up. So now I've opened Wavetable on here. So press play. Bit of unison. So I mean, it sounds all right. And then you could take that and do all kinds of stuff with the new generative tools, and we could arpeggio. This is transformative, actually, this one. If I do try what I did before, it might be the right sound. So some of those sounds are pretty basic, but you can use the guitar as chords, like block chords, play it as melodies. I mean, we started off with an Ozzy Osbourne riff and got to there, so there's a lot you can do here. I'm just kind of, that's the basic idea of, and you can do this in any version of standard or live, I think since version 9.5. Lots you can do with the concepts. So I'll come back to this and do another video in the future, but that was just kind of get you started. And the idea was use your guitar. Many of you will be guitarists first and foremost, not keyboard players. Me too. So you can use kind of your techniques, and you can see at the beginning when I did the riff, when you sort of play a riff that you know well, or play something and then you convert it to a synth, it's going to play your timing along with it, and it just fattens up a lead sound. And I'll look into the drums as well. It's something you can do with a drum loop played by a person, and then you can extract the MIDI and put it into a drum machine, and then the drum machine can play along. It's great for sort of indie bands who want electronic edge and stuff like that. There's a lot you can do here, so I will revisit this another time. But yeah, let me know what you want to see and hear on the channel, because I'm just trying to do stuff that I think, hey, I wish somebody would have showed me that. So do let me know, and don't forget, like and subscribe. The subscribe bit's more important really, because it makes me know there's people out there. Okay, and it supports the channel. Do it. Come on, you know what to do.